In the shadows of Jerusalem's sacred stones, and deep in the highlands of ancient Ethiopia, echoes a forgotten story, hidden beneath centuries of empire, scripture, and silence. This is not just a tale of kings and queens, it is the convergence of wisdom and fire, of prophecy and passion, a divine union, long foretold, that would reshape the destiny of nations. Travel with us beyond the veil of Western tradition. Witness the story through an Afrocentric lens, where Queen Makeda of Sheba meets Solomon, the dreadlocked king of divine wisdom. Together, they forge a bond, not only of the heart, but of legacy, birthing a bloodline destined to carry the Ark of the Covenant and the sacred teachings of Yahweh into the heart of Africa. This is a story of power, of purpose, of a queen who dared to seek, and a king who dared to share, and of a child born not just of love, but of divine intention. Welcome to FactorIt Media. This is the Divine Union, Queen Makeda and King Solomon, an Afrocentric biblical revelation.
Makeda's journey, a divine union with King Solomon. Makeda, Queen of Sheba, stood on the balcony of her palace, gazing out over her vast kingdom. From her youth, she had been raised with the knowledge that her land was ancient, blessed with wealth, wisdom, and a sacred connection to the divine. Her father, the king, had often spoken of prophecies passed down through generations. One prophecy in particular stood out, a promise that a union between the Queen of Sheba and a king of Israel would shape the future of their nations forever. The Queen of Sheba's early years were spent in the great deserts and mountains of Ethiopia, a land as rich in culture and wisdom as it was in resources. From a young age, she had been taught not only to rule, but to see beyond the physical realm, into the spiritual world where gods and spirits whispered secrets of destiny. As a girl, Makeda often meditated by the river, where she heard the wind speak of faraway lands, of a king named Solomon, renowned for his wisdom, wealth, and the secrets of the Almighty. Her kingdom had flourished, but the queen's heart longed for something more. When she heard of Solomon's wisdom, a seed of curiosity was planted. In a sacred dream, she saw a vision of the mighty king of Israel, and it was revealed to her that their meeting was no mere coincidence. It was destiny. As the queen's heart swelled with both wonder and trepidation, she made the bold decision to travel to Jerusalem, not only for the sake of wisdom, but to witness the man who had been spoken of in the prophecies of old. The journey from Sheba to Israel was long, treacherous, and fraught with uncertainty. But Makeda, resolute in her purpose, pressed forward. Along the way, she reflected on the prophecies her father had told her as a child, feeling a deep mystical connection to her ancestors. The union of a royal queen and a distant king will bring forth a future unbroken by time, her father had once said. Little did she know that this journey would not only alter her fate, but the fate of the world itself. Upon reaching Jerusalem, Solomon received her with honor. The queen was awestruck by the grandeur of the palace, the wisdom emanating from every corner, and the palpable energy of divine favor that surrounded Solomon. From the moment their eyes met, there was an unspoken understanding. Solomon, aware of the prophecy, welcomed her with open arms. The wisdom he had cultivated over the years was only amplified by the presence of the queen. Her beauty, her intelligence, her regal bearing. It was as if the divine had woven their paths together long before they had met. Their discussions on the nature of life, wisdom, and faith grew deeper each day. Solomon spoke of his own relationship with the God of Israel, how he had been chosen to rule and impart wisdom to his people. Makeda listened intently, enthralled by his words. Yet, even as she admired his wisdom, she found herself drawn to him in ways she hadn't anticipated. Their hearts, though bound by duty, began to beat in sync, and the air between them thickened with unspoken desire. One evening, as they sat together in the garden, Solomon spoke, "Your land is as rich in wisdom as it is in gold, but it is in your heart, Queen Makeda, that I see the true wealth of the earth." His words lingered in the air as if blessed by the gods themselves. Their union, both passionate and sacred, could not be denied. They were not only two rulers of powerful lands, but two souls bound by destiny. That night their hearts, minds, and bodies entwined in a bond that would forever change the course of history. It was said that their love was blessed by the very heavens, that it was the joining of two divine destinies. However, as dawn broke, the weight of their responsibilities and the nature of their kingdoms reminded them of the impossibility of their union. Solomon, ever the wise king, knew that his love for Makeda could not be sustained in the way they had hoped. Makeda too understood that her people needed her, and her mission was far from complete. Before parting, Solomon entrusted Makeda with the wisdom of Israel, sharing with her the sacred knowledge of Yahweh. He knew she would carry it back to Ethiopia and pass it down to future generations. Makeda, pregnant with Solomon's child, knew that her return home would bring about an even greater destiny. It was not just the birth of a child that she anticipated, but the fulfillment of the ancient prophecy. This child would not only be the heir to the throne of Ethiopia, but also to the wisdom of Solomon, the bloodline of David. The journey back to Ethiopia was even more arduous than before. But Makeda was filled with a sense of purpose. She carried not only the future of her kingdom, but the weight of the divine promise made long ago. As she traveled, she had dreams of the Ark of the Covenant, a symbol of the divine presence that Solomon had promised would be with her forever. In these dreams, she saw the Ark as a tangible link between their worlds, a symbol of the union between Israel and Ethiopia. Upon her return, Makeda gave birth to a son, whom she named Menelik. The child was destined for greatness, and as he grew, it became clear that the prophecies of old were true. Menelik would one day travel to Jerusalem, and with divine assistance, he would bring the Ark of the Covenant back to Ethiopia, cementing the bond between the two great nations. The people of Ethiopia rejoiced at the birth of the child, seeing in him not just the son of a queen, but the son of destiny, Makeda, now at the height of her power, ruled with wisdom and grace, her heart filled with the knowledge that her legacy would endure through her son. She had fulfilled her part of the prophecy, uniting two worlds through love, wisdom, and divine purpose. As she looked out over her kingdom one final time, Makeda knew that her reign was coming to an end. Her people would carry on her legacy, but her heart was at peace. She had completed her mission to unite the wisdom of Solomon with the strength of Ethiopia, to ensure that the blood of David would run through the veins of her people. And so, the tale of Queen Makeda, the Queen of Sheba, would be passed down through generations. Her legacy would live not only in the story of her love for Solomon, but in the enduring power of the union between their peoples. A kingdom built on wisdom, faith, and divine destiny.
Their story didn't end in Jerusalem. It began a legacy that flows through the veins of nations, a covenant sealed by wisdom and guided by divine purpose, from Queen Makeda's royal blood to the rise of Menelik, from the sacred scrolls of Solomon to the Ark's divine journey. The truth echoes: Africa was never a footnote, it was the foundation. At FactorIt Media, we are reclaiming the ancient truths, one story at a time. Like, share, and subscribe to uncover more Afrocentric revelations buried beneath time and tradition. Pass this story down, share it with your family, because the wisdom of our ancestors was never meant to be forgotten. FactorIt Media, where truth has a voice.